Hey guys, I am going to go over a couple of things on the math module. I'm not really going to go through the content like I normally do with like a PowerPoint or whatever, because they do a pretty good job of covering everything you really need to know. Um, but I'm just going to give you some basics on what to know as far as pharmacy math and the test. Before I go on there and kind of show you, I just want to let you know there's not a ton of math questions on the test. There's about 10 to 15 questions. There's like on the certification test itself, there's about 120 questions. And they give you 2 hours to complete this test. So about 10 to 15 questions are math questions. Um, they're not super hard math questions. A lot of people kind of get nervous about that, but I will say I've never had an issue with my tab students and the math um, because a lot of it's stuff you've gone over in the past. A lot of it's conversions and things like going from milliliters to liters, like easier stuff like that. And then household measurements like tablespoons, teaspoons, things like that, going from that to milliliters. So have to you will have to memorize some little conversions like that. You'll need to memorize going from Celsius to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to Celsius. Um, Being able to go between that, you'll need to know Roman numerals. They do ask some Roman numeral questions. So stuff that you've gone over like way a long time ago, probably in like middle school, maybe. Um, and then, so a lot of it's going to be a review. And then there are a few questions on like flow rates and stuff like that that you're probably not as familiar with that it'll go over. So I'm going to show you kind of what I want you to do in this module. And hopefully it looks very similar to yours. But again, we don't spend a whole lot of time on this. Now, if you have a really hard time with math, I would say go through this really well and then go through it again before you take the test. But again, it's not a huge portion of the test either. You know what I mean? So while I would say you do need to know most of the math, like so that you could do it if it comes up, it's going to be more imperative for you to focus on other areas that are a little harder for you. Because I've just noticed the majority of my tab students like don't usually have trouble with the math, but they have a lot more trouble with laws, remembering the laws, and just some other stuff that comes up with pharmacy that's not like like common knowledge, like stuff that you don't actually know or is easy to forget. So, okay, I'm going to present my screen here. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to see it. So if I hopefully this is how it looks when you see it. So it's going to give you launch lesson or select a quiz. There is a basic calculations quiz and an advanced calculations quiz. I would do both of those things. It should give you the answers or the rationale after each one. Like, so you can answer it and then you're able to see if you got it right or wrong and why. So this is a really good study tool for you. Yes, I want you to take the quiz because you will be getting a grade. I'm going to probably take a grade on the basic calculations quiz. But it's also good for you to see kind of like what you missed and why. It's a good study tool. So when it pops up here, it's going to have on the side here some things to go through. So I would start with the overview, obviously, and go through overview of calculations. It's going to talk about how to convert within and between each system of measurement. I'll say if you could do ratio and proportions, like set up a ratio and proportions problem, you will be able to do most of the math, and most of y'all know how to do that already. But it'll go through it. So go through metric system. Remember King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. You remember that? I think that's what we used to do, and how I learned it like way back when. Like base is the center. Anyway, this is like stuff you've learned a long time ago. So so go through all this stuff. You're gonna go through some practice questions. They're gonna ask you some things, ratios. They're gonna talk about ratios, how to set up a proportion. Like I said, this is really important. This is probably like at least 50% of everything you need to know about math is, about the pharmacy math is setting up proportions. Some of it's really easy, like you don't even have to put it in that, but like you don't even have, you could probably do it in your head, but like they give you the option. Those are all my, sorry guys. Those are when I do all the videos for you. And then you're just going to go through day supply. This is pretty easy. It's just basically calculating like how much you're going to need per day, and then how that translates to how much you need per month. So obviously, if you were to need 2 pills a day for 30 days, you'd need 60 pills total. Like super easy stuff, It does, some of it's just like not overcomplicated. It's pretty easy. They talk a little bit about sterile and non-sterile compounding, and alligation. I will say usually there's only like one question on alligation. It's not that hard, but it's just something you probably wouldn't be able to do um, unless you learned it. And then they ask you some stuff down here. So remember the technique for calculating appropriate pediatric dose. That would be Clark's rule, by the way. So I think they'll go through Clark's rule, but it's basically going through the child's weight as far as the dosage, because kids get a different dosage, but it kind of depends on their weight, because every kid could weigh something different. You know what I mean? Like my kid is like almost 30 pounds, but my friend has the same age child, and she's like 22 pounds. So she's like way smaller. And so they would have different, they would take different amounts of medication. So that is Clark's rule. Anyway, flow rates, I talked a little bit about that. You need to know about that. There's usually a question or two on that. And then business calculations. Again, these are pretty easy. You probably would know how to do these, but go through those temperature conversions, percentage calculations, and then that's basically it. This shouldn't take you that long to do, but maybe a couple of hours of going through this and taking the quiz, maybe like an hour or two, honestly, especially because most of y'all will know how to do a lot of this stuff, and do the calculations. Anyway, let me stop presenting here. Yeah, so we're getting close to the end of the semester. So I'm planning on this being like the last thing we do is module 6. And then when we get back from Christmas break, hopefully I will not have had the baby yet, because that would be really early. So then we are going to go through modules 7 and 8 before I go on maternity leave. And then y'all will go through the top 200 drugs and drug classifications with Miss Walsh while I'm on maternity leave, as well as doing some practice tests and kind of preparing for the test. So a lot of this is going to be on you guys to learn. You've got the online portal here that like really helps you. All these modules are going to help you. Like if you focus and really put your mind to it and do this and learn this, you'll do well. But most of the time, if you do not study it and like actually learn it, you will not pass, because it's a hard test overall. Like you have to memorize, you have to study. And I would say about my pass rate's about 60%. So about 60% of my students will pass it. So those are pretty good odds, but I will tell you the 40% just like don't put in the work. That's really what it comes down to. Like they don't study, they don't put the work in. They're just like trying to get work done to pass my class, but they don't really actually care about like learning the material. So that's kind of the difference. So just be aware of that and think about that as you're going through this. Like, do you really want this? Because like right now we're kind of at that place where you really got to study, you really got to focus. And I'm not going to be there at the end of the year to like be pushing you through. Hopefully Miss Walsh can like, help. But you know, it's going to be up to you. I will give you everything you need to do, but it comes down to you actually doing the work. You know what I mean? So, okay, guys, that's it. I'm going to stop recording now. I hope you'll have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.